This is one of my favorite places. This is the Westerheide, and even though I've been coming here almost my whole life, I never realized how special it was until I picked up birding. And before that I occasionally did spot a woodpecker or a buzzard, but I never knew how many different species there truly are here. I already heard some great spotted woodpeckers, so let's see if we can find those. I'm also really hoping we see a kestrel or a hobby. A buzzard would also be nice. And there's one spot where we might see a kingfisher, so let's try that as well. About a year ago I spotted my first white-tailed eagle out in the wild. I did not expect to see it there at all. It wasn't here, by the way. It was about 130 kilometers away from here. And at first I thought I saw a buzzard because that was basically the only bird of prey I could identify. But it was way too big. And I was just so intrigued by the sheer size of it that I asked my dad to bring his binoculars and we looked at it and we saw that it was an actual white-tailed eagle, or as we like to call it, the sea eagle. And after that I became more and more interested in even the smaller birds. And I've had the chance to spot the white-tailed eagle a couple of times after that. But the most important time, or at least the most special time for me, was right here. I never expected to see it fly over one of the places that I've been visiting my whole life. And that bird still gives me goosebumps when I see it out in the wild, because it's so big. Also, for context, we don't really have any predators in the Netherlands. We have a couple of wolves, we don't have bears, we don't have lions, mountain lions, whatever. So to see a bird of prey like that for me is just really special. And it's funny how it can go, because if I wouldn't have uploaded that silly video of me taking a photo of one of my favorite birds, I probably wouldn't be here making this video right now. So thank you, white-tailed eagle. I don't think we're gonna see the white-tailed eagle today. Would be magnificent though. In this area I usually find meadow pipits, stonechats, sometimes even linnets, and a lot of bunnies. So I want to lay low a little bit, see if they return. There's a little meadow pipit. They're so cute. What I love so much about stonechats is that these little birds love to sit on top of the shrubs, which makes for great photos. But I never saw them before I started birding. And whenever I'm here with someone who isn't into birding that much, I usually show them the stonechats and I point them out and they just can't see them. They blend in so well. And now that I've, practiced a little bit with birding and with identifying different birds, I can spot them from far away. And I just think there's something magical there. It's like the art of noticing. And these little birds are my favorite example of that. I already heard some green woodpeckers on the way, and this is one of my favorite spots to photograph them. I even got one of my, I think, top 3 photos at this spot. And what I like about this photo is that it took some knowledge and different skill sets together to make the photo. See, I was walking here and I already heard that laughing call of the green woodpecker. So I immediately recognized it. So I looked around and I saw a green bird flying in a kind of arch pattern, which I also immediately recognized as a woodpecker. And then suddenly the flight pattern ended and I thought, okay, it might have landed on this tree here. I got a bit closer and I saw that the woodpecker was landing on the opposite side of the tree. So I waited for it to be completely behind the tree and then I used that to get closer. And I could be so close that I didn't even have to crop into the photo that much. I was all the way on full frame at 600mm. And I'm just so happy with this shot. So it was all these different skills, both photography, bird knowledge, but also just, playing into the situation itself, getting close when you can, and then taking the shot at the right moment that came together to make this photograph. And I think that really shows. They're a bit calm at the moment, so let's move on to the forest, see what we can find there. This field is very popular with local wildlife photographers because there's a lot of deer around and they love to wander around the forest behind it. And sometimes they come out, and especially when the buckwheat here is in bloom, photographers are aiming for that shot where the deer pokes his head above the field. Now, I haven't taken that photo yet, maybe someday, but I gotta say my focus is primarily on birds. Maybe I should pick up deer photography. Let me know what you think. But there's also a lot of cool birds here, so let's take a couple photos of those. There's a willow warbler. Of course, this willow warbler lands there when I have the sky behind it. It makes such a difference if you just take a couple steps to the right sometimes. There's a couple of woodpeckers. Do you hear that? That's the green woodpecker, but there's a couple of great spotted woodpeckers here, and they're actually pretty comfortable around me. Ah, there it is. There's some deer. They're super close. Wow. Okay, maybe I should start doing deer photography. What do you think? There they go. Wow, that was super cool. This is the little lake where I often see the kingfisher. Now, I've never had the chance to take a good photo of it because they're incredibly fast. And every time I hear their call, I only see them flying away from me, never towards me. And I was really hoping to get a photo today, but it's already getting incredibly hot. I'm dealing with a lot of heat distortion in my photos, so I think the best thing to do is to come back tomorrow morning, bring a bag hide, and we'll set it up at one of those perches to see if we can photograph the kingfisher. Morning. I already heard a green woodpecker and I heard the kingfisher, and I just saw it land somewhere in the reeds behind me. I think that's his hunting spot, but behind me is a perch. So first let's find a nice composition of the perch, set up, and then wait for the kingfisher. I can't get low enough anyways to get any of the background in, unless I would really have to be in the water, but I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna set up as close as possible without being in the water to make use of my full range. I see a black woodpecker. Do you hear that? Be right back. It's way too dark in the forest now. I have to put ISO on 32,000 with a shutter speed of 1/640. Super cool to see him here though. Wow. Maybe if we have a bit more morning light and he comes back, I can get a good photo. Very cool though. Back to the mission. Before I put on my camo, I'm trying to find a good composition of the perch. But what I noticed from this spot is that there's a branch behind it that is now kind of blocking the background. And I kind of have to choose now between a clean composition and being as close as possible. And I think I just want a clean composition. So let's move a couple of meters that way and get that branch out of the background. And now we wait. Ah, there it is. That was so cool. I saw it hunt across the pond and I saw the blue flash coming toward me. So I'm so happy that I got the pictures. Now the next time I would like to bring down the shutter speed a little bit, but I had to choose between freezing the moment or, you know, bringing down the shutter speed and letting in more details and with a lower ISO. And this time I just chose for a higher shutter speed so I could really freeze the moment. In some areas you already see some motion blur because he was slapping that fish super fast. But I'm super happy with the composition and with how it is in the frame. And the next time I want to take some more risks and bring down the shutter speed. And I would also really really like to have it on video, but this time I couldn't switch fast enough. It was here and gone so fast. But wow, that's so cool. My first proper kingfisher shot. Wow. I haven't seen the kingfisher in a while, and it's also extremely quiet, so I think I'm not gonna see it anymore. I would have liked to film it a little bit, but I guess that's a story for the next time. I'm super happy with the photos I took on this trip, so if you like it, please let me know in the comments, and if you have any tips, also let me know. Thank you for being here again, and I'll see you in the next one.